Hi guys and welcome to Dingus channel. We're gonna have a quick battle report again between this time Undying Dynasties on the left and Vermin Swarm on the right. Yeah, that's a list format. Well, maybe not list format. That's the appearance of the list that you're gonna have. Uh, Talking points on the lists: 2 catapults, 2 units of scraps with Barrow Legion on the Undying, 7 shabitis with halberds. 2 big blocks of skeletons, no Mark Pharaoh with the Godslayer, Death Masks and all that. And the Wizard Master Evo and Adept Divination. On the VS list we got triple A-bombs because you're always going bottom up of the list. 2 cannons, 2 units of Morillos with the Deep Fire Thrower, 40 slaves without numbers, so if they die they can get back on the table in case you forgot. 2 units of Blackfire Veterans, the old Vermin Guard, Senator, just a general with the Toga to stand behind, Legate with the Doomblade and Potion of Swiftness, Adept Witchcraft, Adept Thaumaturgy on the platform. So let's get to it. Our deployment. So he was able to choose sites, so I deployed all out. We have the diagonal battle with the hold the center. And this is how I deployed. There's ruins over here, there are 2 impossibles. So in this deployment I didn't realize, I should have realized that I'm going to be very constricted. My army is very wide, especially with 2 hordes, you know, the way that I put the Morillos like that. I also made a mistake, not only in deployment, not only in the magic, but on the rules also. I thought the bell gives musician within 18 inches. The wording is kind of not specific. I don't really understand what they were trying to achieve with it, whether it was just to have 18 inches for the opponents to be able to take mark checks, or whether they actually wanted to have the musician with 18 inches just failed to word it correctly, or that we just misread it and didn't understand it right. So, well, anyhow, this is the deployment, those are the spells, so -1 toughness, breath weapon, no shooting, -2 to cast, and agility, offensive defensive debuff. I should have taken the Raven's Wing over here because if yes, sure, I can go around, but it's very hard to go around with A-bomb. It can take up actually 3 turns on the bottom side to go around. It can take 2 turns over here, but where is it gonna go? Like, really, where is it gonna go? So I should have taken the Raven's Wing. It was my mistake. Something for future. You'll see exactly why. So deploying Abomination, the Beast, Morillos, Blackfire Veterans, Veterans with Doomblade, Wizard, and the General. Another Beast, another unit of Morillos, Abomination, and 2 cannons behind, but kind of forward, so they can provide support fire far away. And this is my opponent's deployment. He deployed back. He didn't want to deal with those Morillos with the fire throwers. He was like, fuck those guys. He deployed forward kind of his chaff units and deployed the Shabitis and the Reapers on the left side. So they're kind of a pain in the rear to deal with because I don't have, like, I have a Doomblade over here. So yes, I can deal with those units by exposing the flank if I fail the charge or anything like it. So that's, otherwise those units, they cannot deal with Shabitis unless I get combo charge. Each of them can deal with Reapers, just have to be careful so that the Reapers don't get some kind of a weird charge or get behind me and get a rear or something. So, okay, because also bear in mind, cannons are only D3 right now. They have no clipped wings, they have no +1, they have just basically, they lost accurate, they lost the clipped wings, they lost +1, and they lost the lightning and kept the same price. Because, oh, and lost HP, just because, you know, have to have a little rant about the balance and the VS. I have them because the only alternative for dealing with large things are the Zales, and with the amount of stuff that I got in my army, they just suffer so many casualties, I mean not casualties, penalties for cover. or they have to be far away on the flank, in which case they don't have leadership and they just flee. Alright, so let's get to turn 1. Turn 1. Slaves push. I decided to sacrifice Abomination. I have to somehow get rid of those units. I have to get rid before the Tomb Reaper starts flying around somewhere around the rear. And also, I just cannot control the random movement of the Abomination. So if it doesn't go far enough, it's fine. If it goes far enough, I just use it to kill the Shavities. On the right flank, I move the A-bomb towards his other brick. And this is where we check the rules about the musician thing, and turns out that these guys cannot reform. They cannot move past. So my plan was to reform them in 2x2 and move forward, or maybe even straight line, and just hit with one guy, hit the unit over here. Especially since there was no threat of countercharge. But well, not providing musicians. So this is what happens. I moved the Vermin guard over here because I was expecting that he may be able to maybe trying to attempt the charge at the slaves, and if I'll lose the combat, I don't want this brick in between my 2 bricks of Blackfire veterans. You cannot have holes in between your army. The First World War tactics and stuff like that. It would be very bad if you'd get between the lines of sight of those 2 big bricks. So from spells, I was able to get -2 to cast and no shooting on his archers. He actually tried to dispel that, failed, and then I tried to put -2 offensive, defensive, and agility, I think, on the Reapers, and I had more dice, but he was able to dispel that. So yeah, that was the roll for -2 to cast over here. You can see it on the left side. So in shooting, what happened is I misfired with the cannon on top, got 2 wounds myself, got 2 wounds on his Shavities, but also misfired with one guy and put 2 wounds on myself. They didn't overcharge or anything, they just straight out on strength 2 did 2 wounds to themselves. Yes, I misfired also the other cannon as well, didn't do any wounds to it fortunately, so that was my shooting. Very impressive first turn. And he takes the bait. He's like, okay, I'll charge the A-bomb, and again I made a slight mistake because I didn't realize that. I realized at the moment that he charged A-bomb, I was like, oh crap, yeah, I see that he can overrun through the ruins into the hulks. But I didn't realize that he can overrun through the ruins into the hulks on the left side where my bell can see. And now on his turn, he's gonna buff the crap out of those Shavities. And yes, I'm gonna have a flank charge with the A-bomb, but that's gonna be agility 4. I'm gonna be really depending the whole resolution of this battle on my -2 agility spell, so that I can deal the most damage before he really swings. And I also don't want this unit to put so much damage, on. He's gonna kill this A-bomb. There's no question about it. But if he's maybe not lucky enough, but if he rolls averages, he's gonna get into that combat, and he's gonna deal on top of that. He's gonna deal severe damage to those 2 units as well, depending on the buffing, the spells that he chooses to debuff. So that's a no crap moment, because this spell should have been half an inch back, half an inch more to the right, to better protect the flank of those Thunderhawks. Just things to be careful about, especially when you're playing on the table. It should be easier. I don't know, I haven't done it. He's chaffing my slaves. So he didn't decide to charge them, he decided to actually just straight out chaff them. He wanted to, I think he was trying to chaff the bell unit, but it was a little too far away. He couldn't have done it. So he chaffs those, moves the other swarm back. He's like, ah, screw it, I'm not dealing with all this BS on the right side. Moves the bunker a little bit forward. Moves his big brick a little bit forward, as you can see, into the field. Now that it gives him any protection, just moves it to the field. And he buffs the crap out of this this big block. Uh, I was fine with those spells because I was like, yeah, this A-bomb dies either way, and didn't want then. I think I didn't want the no die enemy to go off, and I didn't want any of the sniping spells to go off because remember, Wizard HP2 General. I think it's HP3, but just no protection. MR2 on this rock, but you know, just didn't want that to happen. I think I wanted the most not to get the no die enemy because then they would give them agility 6, and I would fight Simo with them if they decided to go front or even ahead of any of those guys. So I let the other two spells in, and then -2 to cast didn't do anything to him. Even on 2 dice, it's like, okay, I failed to roll this spell, so I'm just gonna reroll. Oh, it's 9, 10, 11. It goes off. It even heals because why not? Right. But his catapults don't do shit. He actually misfires and puts a wound on one of them, and he fails to overrun, and does that wound in his attempt, and gives me a flank charge. That's pretty nice, right? That should be pretty good. Here is the mistake also that I did when I moved up. I should have switched the places between the wizard and the Doomblade, and we'll see that in a second. Because on my turn, I charge. Abomination fails. I think it needed something like 10. It goes something like 6, 7 maybe. It fails. So instead of getting rid of the Reapers and going onto the backfield to be, playing hunting his threading the flank and hunting his wizards, instead I just decided that let's go a couple of inches. Yeah, I think I rolled 222 and let's have it fight Reapers. I push on the right side. The Vermin Guard gets blocked. I don't have a Raven's Wing. Yeah, I got the toughness debuff so that the Vermin Guard can do the most. And here comes the problem that I talked a second ago. That I should have moved the Doomblade in place of a wizard. Why? Because in case I do get that flank charge, I kill at least one guy with a Doomblade, and between Doomblade and the Vermin Guard, I think I kill like 2, 3. Yes, I'm by Doomblade killing the at least one guy over here, and probably like maybe 2 or 3. I do lose some attacks from the Vermin Guard, but I keep my wizard alive. And in this case, no matter how many wounds I do, I'll never do enough so that this single guy over here will not be able to hit my my wizard. And this is what happens. He kills my wizard. Surprise, surprise, right? I reform to face front on those both of those 2 units. I'm like, yeah, if he charges, I can counter charge with either A-bomb or the Morillos. The Arena Beast, yes. And combat over here, we're pillow fighting. Like, seriously, nothing's happening. I also, with my magic, I got -1 agility, offensive and defensive on the Tomb Reapers, so that if they get into the combat over here with the Morillos, they fight the same time. I was like, fine, A-bomb, yeah, whatever, you're probably not gonna kill it. But I didn't want to have too many losses on those Thunderhawks, so I decided let's have a balanced fight so we hit at the same time. And my cannons are able to kill actually one of those catapults. They roll like a boss. Previous turn 1-1, this turn 6-6 to hit. Easy, right? And those are his charges. He decided to charge my bell, he decides to charge my abomination, and he doesn't decide to take the fight to this A-bomb yet. I'm not sure how it'll go if he would be trying to chaff me with his swarm. But this is what happens. He actually fails the charge with the spears. And he buffed the Reapers, and he buffed his spear block because like he noticed that he's gonna charge. On the combat over here, we have another pillow fight with stick. I reform to make way for the Vermin guard, so to unblock it, finally go somewhere and do something. Please, really. Please and thank you. In the combat over here, he does only 1 wound. He does something like actually 3 wounds. I saved 2 on 5 ups. So, yes, I'm able to stick. I'm not doing anything. I didn't do anything to him neither. So I rolled triple ones for the D3 attacks. I think I hit with actually like 1 attack and didn't wound anything. Something like that. Oh, actually no, there it is, right? No, I don't know what it is. But I failed to do anything to his Tomb Reaper. So he wins the combat. I have my minimized. I don't have range to my. Arena Beast does not. It's not stubborn anymore, and does not have a standard. So it's only discipline like 5 or 6. But it has a reroll and minimized because of this case over here, and because of the reroll. Oh, this is the discipline type. I failed the first one. I passed the second one, and it's really nice. 3, 5, 6. Those are the. No, never mind. Yeah, 2 hit rolls. 2 hits from the amount of attacks. 2 hit, 2 wound, and the break test, I guess. So, this is what happens. I think that. Well, he needed to buff, I guess, this big brick. So I guess I can't blame him for splitting up the attention between the Reapers and the Spears. My next turn, A-Bomb fails to charge. I'm able to charge over here. I join the Hulks into the combat with the Reapers. I actually lose 1 to DTs on the charge, I think. 1, and I think that even 2 wounds on the DTs, I'm not 100% sure. I don't have Raven's Wing, so I can't put those guys in a position where they can shoot actually effectively. I push the Vermin guard, it's like, come on guys, get done something during this game. There's a pillow fight over here. My cannons are able to deal a couple of wounds. I'm able to get a breath weapon on myself because I have only 1 wizard, so I don't want to blow up with 5 dicing spells. He stabs the smite, he lets the breath weapon off. And in the combat, I do only 2 wounds with my Doomblade to his guy with the Godslayer. I kind of whiff with my attacks on his units, hitting him on 4s, wounding on 3s. I don't do too many wounds. I have a lot of attacks, impact hits and all that, don't do a lot. He challenges with his champion, I took it with my general. I thought that I would be able to deal 1 wound, nah. This is how many he kills. It's fine. It's fine. I am able to stick. I think we're not. I think we're even the same combat dress in the end. But anyhow, I'm able to stick. But this was my mistake. This was my big mistake because why charge those spears? Seriously, if I have those guys that can shoot the crap out of them, A-Bomb should be able to deal with the Reapers, especially if buffed. Why charge those spears? Why risk it? That was a dumb mistake, especially with all the buffs that he has between all the enemy and all that. So my bad, my mistake. And it's all crap because it's gonna be his turn, so he's gonna be able to cast magic, and I don't have a witchcraft, so I'm not able to cast -2 to cast. Not that it would do anything, but you know, still. So let's move to the next turn. Okay, so this is what happens. I save the next turn, but then I oversave. I saved something else on that file. I saved the last moment on this file, so we're gonna have to go through from this picture. I have to explain what happened next. So what happened next is he charged this spear unit into the A-Bomb. And I'm not sure if he shouldn't add those guys, because if they would be corner to corner, they have 10 attacks with poison. Maybe they will be able to put something on. As this, he just decided to charge with just a spears themselves, and he was able to buff the big spear unit. I don't remember exactly what spells he got off, but he was able to heal 7 guys, and he almost wiped out the bell unit. And I think I had only 4 Vermin guard, no, 3 Vermin guard left. The general was left also. I think, no, he didn't kill the champion still. I was able to stick, because of the halving the combat res, on something like, I need something like 4 or 3. It was quite bad. It was quite lucky that I got it. I don't remember exactly what was needed. Over here, pillow fight again. Those guys don't do anything. And in my turn, after the combat over here, I was able to move Abam a little bit to the left. I charged the Thunderhawks, and I was like, okay, if I'm gonna lose this unit, I'm gonna lose the game. I'm so far winning the secondary, but he may be able to tie and win it, because, you know, he's gonna have, I'm gonna lose magic support. He is gonna have magic support. Who knows what's gonna happen in the second round of combat over here. I charge, so it's like, if I want to win that game, or if I want to draw that game, or if I want to have any chances, I better get this charge on the flank that he missed. I need an 8 over here. And I'm also joining the Hulks, because this is the most important combat. Like, nothing else matters, really, for me. And in his magic phase, I think that's a mistake. He splits the magic between this combat and this combat, I think, if I remember correctly, which I think is a mistake, because the only thing you care about, the only thing you need to do to gain victory is kill this unit. So I'm able to get this 8 on the flank. Everything else, auto in, doesn't matter. A-bomb, doesn't matter what it does, kind of, but I'm able to get 8. So he's in his last ditch effort, he's trying to kill the bell with his Godslayer. I'm able to save 2 out of 3 wounds on the 5-up, despite being divine. That's super lucky for me. He still won't be able to kill the bell because of how many wounds it has. I think it has 7 wounds right now, but right? I'm gonna actually, you know what? No, I'm not gonna check it. I'm not gonna check it now. But I think it does. So anyway, he's not able to kill it. He loses between the breath weapon, I'm able to get off, and attacks from the flank, front, and bell. I'm able to wipe the unit out because of his crumble and overrun the flank of his on his wizard. Over here, I win the combat, but we stick. He doesn't do anything to me. He's very unlucky despite having lethal strikes, and I think he had a reroll to wound over here. He activated also rending manner. He didn't do anything. And the pillow fight in the center. I'm able to shoot off his second catapult, and he just gives up at this moment. So chaotic game. I feel like I shouldn't allow it to get so close to losing this game. I made plenty of mistakes between choosing the spells and also positioning, charging, underestimating his brick. Some unlucky things happened, but I think they happened on both sides, between me rolling so poorly on the first round of combat, not being able to kill his big Godslayer guy. I mean, it can happen. I think it was slightly unlucky, but I mean, that was a risk. You're taking the risk, you know, that you have to do 4 wounds with, and you might not do it. And if you're betting your whole strategy on one set of rolls doing something, you're doing it wrong. Or especially if you don't have to do it, okay? Like the flank charge, I had to do it. I had to bet on that. the front charge. I didn't have to bet my 2 wizards, general, and a doomblade and big brick of Vermin on the charge. I had other options. I had other things to do. So mistake. And yeah, thanks for watching. Peace.